What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So today we're knocking out that soul lane tier list, then we're gonna knock out the soul support tier list tomorrow. This was the longest tier list, so I started it and had some shit come up and couldn't finish it. And now we're getting around to it, we're knocking it out. It is a little bit more difficult because there are a lot of gods that get played in the soul lane, that can be played in the soul lane. People have their favorites, people have the ones that you see do really well in comp, and those are the ones we're gonna try to focus on, and then we'll get to, obviously we'll be placing the ones that get played a lot less often but can be played. So top of the list is going to be Achilles S plus. So SS would be everything that's banned every single game and should never get through. Nothing's really quite there anymore. S plus is going to be your top tier soul laners that can be picked and do really well in almost every matchup. Maybe have some that aren't the best, but you can still play into them and do fine. S tier gonna be just below that. A plus are gonna be your really good gods that you can be pretty much played all the time, but you'll want to pick later on to see your matchups. A tier will be just okay in all the matchups, better into specific matchups. B plus is going to be your like niche picks, your I really love Naja solo because I'm a Naja main type shit. That could work, but only in a certain shit. And then B tier is going to be just your low tier gods that very, very rarely should be played, but can be played. C and D are going to be poo poo. So we got Achilles and S plus, like I said. Amaterasu is going to be more B plus. She's pretty weak right now. Her early game clear was always bad. Her mid game clear compared to a lot of the other gods is also not that good. Plus her team fight is kind of slacking. You're really just basing it off of the aura, the team fight aura that Ama's giving, as well as the extra damage. She's not complete trash, but really you're only playing her if that's a god you love to play for whatever reason, because overall there are a million picks better than her. Aphrodite, similar situation. Even after all the buffs to Afro, you're still automatically losing the early game. You still do have the potential of being dove, especially when people build anti-heal, and you aren't really benefiting from the early buffs that they gave to Afro, which is the buff to the 1. It's just a good buff, plus the 2. Obviously everyone's going to get that, but Afro's really not linking up and staying linked until like 13-14 minutes. Don't know why my dog's going crazy. So yeah, that's where Afro's at. RDO is going to be A tier. Good into some matchups, bad into others. It'll be something you more pick for your team comp because you need the cripple, you need the magic damage, you need the prod shred. Any of those could be reasons that you play it, as long as you know the matchup should be okay. Athena is going to be another one of those where you need magic damage and you're playing off of the duo side of the map. So you really want to have that Athena ult to just affect and impact the invades and the ganks and everything else. And you want to, when you need magic damage and lockdown. I really don't think Athena's bad in any way, but I do think laning wise, there's a lot better. Plus the way the game is played right now, if you're forced into playing through your soul lane, having Athena not able to ult into the team fights and not really get a lot out of the Athena rotations, then you're kind of fucking yourself by picking the god. Bacchus, B plus. Have seen it played. I've seen it do okay. It's kind of annoying playing into a solo lane Bacchus, I'll give you that, but there are a lot of matchups you're going to get dumpstered in lane. A lot of matchups are just going to straight up beat you. It's really easy to counterplay into a Bacchus. You can't go full damage. If you're building hybrid, you are going to die a lot because once you commit, you're committed and you're probably dead. That's just where it's at. Bacchusura, B. Bacca overall is just terrible. I'd put Bacca lower, but you see it work in the lower end games where Bacca gets through or gets picked and does fine because people don't know how to pressure out a Bacca. Now, if you're playing against a Bacca in any other tier, like higher tier of gaming, Smite game, then you are going to get fucked. The Bacca is going to get railed. You're going to get invaded. You're going to get pressured. You're going to get out cleared. You're going to get out poked. You're going to get out your team fight on Bacca is just not that good. So everything is going to be better. You're not going to have that snowball potential. Baron, next up on the list. Baron, you're seeing picked up a lot more recently in comp and even in ranked games, high ranked games. And it's because Baron in the solo, when you're fighting in the solo, is awesome. So it's kind of the reverse of Athena, where Athena wants to fight on the other side of the map. Baron wants to be fighting and pressuring in his lane, because if he's ganked, it's nearly impossible to kill him straight up. It's going to be very, very hard. And then on top of the trying to kill Baron, if you're actually fighting your teammates ganking your lane, you do a lot of damage. You have a lot of lockdown with the ultimate. You're fairly safe. You can mix match, so you have physical coming out of the jungle, you have magical in the soul lane. That damage combo early is really strong because you can have defense for both. Baron's actually just doing a lot better than he was for a while, and it's actually kind of exciting to see. Valona, next on the list. S tier. I think Valona is still really good. started getting played a lot, and then all of a sudden, slight nerf, not played at all. I think the idea of the nerf is a little overhyped. It wasn't much of a nerf. I think Valona is still very strong. Obviously, going to get out cleared and pressured in some of the matchups on the higher tier, your Hercules and a couple other gods. But overall, Valona has a great team fight. You're seeing a lot of double hunters, double auto attack gods, so Valona disarm is going to be even stronger in those. Plus, the team fight in the late game is strong. Lane is good, fine, can clear or out clear other people. Valona is a solid pick right now. Bracken B+ only if you're playing it because it's your god and the matchups works out for you. That's all it comes down to. Bracken in team fights can be really annoying, but you're playing a heavy dive, heavy aggression comp if you're picking a Bracken, and if you're not doing that, the Bracken's gonna be left out to dry and it's gonna be a rough time. Camazotz S tier. Camazotz is picked just to sustain through whatever is playing into. He's not picked to just dump to the lane. It does happen because people are bad in lower end games and even in higher end games. It happens where you snowball, you start fragging, get some kills, and the game's over because of it. But you're playing a god with no lockdown. Team fight is okay, fairly safe, can do a lot of damage when you're coming to the team fight on par or ahead. If you're behind, you're super fucked. And then in lane, like I said, you're just sustaining. You're clearing, you're poking, you're sustaining. You're just trying to play even with whoever else until they make a mistake. Then you'll take advantage of it. Whereas these other gods can be bullies like Achilles, Valona, Arthur, a couple other gods can all just be straight up bullies. And you are not really trying to just be a bully on Camazotz. Cerberus, it's really rough. He's in between A and B+. So if you need magic damage and shred, sure, he's really not going to do much in the lane. He's going to get out pressured super hard, and he's going to be out rotated super hard. But after you get through that through the whole laning phase of team fight, Cerberus is actually kind of annoying for the other team to play into. It's rough. It's actually a pretty good team fighting god. But because of how bad the laning phase is and everything, I'm going to put him in B+ and just say if the matchup comes up where you can get away with playing it, if you need magic damage, you just need a strong team fight god, then Cerberus is one of those gods, but not many people are going to be doing that. Chalk, B tier, does nothing in team fights, just silences, and then he's worthless. His healing is going to be completely negated late game. His laning phase for the first few levels, maybe he can out clear, but then after that, it's going to become pretty even, and he's going to get bullied. It's going to start to happen where he gets bullied very, very easily. Chunga, B+. If you're a healer main and you want to play Chunga, it actually works out, but you're not gonna be able to play it in every matchup. You are gonna get out pressured in a lot of the matchups, so remember that. Cullen, we've seen a lot of drop off on Cullen, or not Cullen, sorry, I don't know why I said that twice. I don't even know. Cullen is who we're placing. We're actually putting Cullen in B tier. Overall, super fucking weak. So the problem with a lot of the warriors outside of the ones we've placed already, they don't have good late game, and late game right now in Smite is almost guaranteed every game because of how hard Fire Giant is. And on top of it being guaranteed every game, you need team fight gods that are going to be able to play into the Fire Giant and play into those late game team fights. Cullen just doesn't do that. His laning phase is in a lot of the other gods. He's not going to have super pressure. He's not going to be crazy out rotating. It's just not going to happen. If he snowballs early, then great, but you still have to try to avoid this late game where Cullen doesn't have a good late game. Cullen dies super hard late. He has his ult, and that's about it for true CC. You're playing into your transform every time, but he's just way too easy to kill. It just doesn't have the kit to survive and do everything you need in the late game team fights. Erlang Shen, A tier. If you're going for high pressure and the matchup comes up, Erlang Shen. And in terms of high pressure, I mean, you're trying to invade and just fight every fucking 5 seconds because that's pretty much what Erlang does. And his rotations really aren't that bad, but he will be out pressured and out matchupped into a lot of the top tier gods. And you know, just know your matchup and know what you're doing and why you want to play it. As long as that comes up, he's really not a bad god. That's why I'm putting him in A. Something that'll work into a lot of team comps, just not something you want to top pick at all whatsoever. Fenrir, A+, because a lot of the matchups he can actually play into. It's not so much like this, I need this to happen. It's more so like, oh, they pick King Arthur, oh, they pick this god, I'm going to play Fenrir into it. I'm going to play there for the sustain or the canceling or the rotations into the late game team fights. I really like Fenrir in your rank games because you get a lot of out of the ults, where in comp you really don't, because if Fenrir ults somebody, the whole team collapses on it. In rank, that really doesn't happen that often. So I really do believe Fenrir is a little bit higher up on the list. Just straight up that simple. Ganesh, I have Ganesh here because people have been playing it. B tier, it's not going to be out clearing and rotating anybody. It's just not going to bring anything crazy to the team fights. I don't know why people like to play it, but I see it, so I had to put it on here. Geb, I actually really like Geb in the solo lane. I think Geb is one of the best guardians to play in the solo lane because his team fight is insane at all stages of the game. You have a percentage damage ultimate that's AoE and fucking super easy to hit on people. One of the best guardian ults in the game. You have an insane shield that's going to protect somebody. You've got frontline out of a god because you've got knockups. You've got the stun on the ults. You have the slow on the wand. You've got damage out of 4 of your ability, or 3 of your abilities, sorry. And he's really hard to kill. And because of that, you have to have Geb higher. He's also got an amazing passive. The god is just very, very strong overall, and I kind of think a lot of people underrate him. I'm not going to place him any higher because, yes, he will be out pressured hardcore in a lot of matchups. But assuming you're playing for the late game, Geb is a great pick. Guan, seen a lot more lately. The healing, I don't know what it is. It's just working out. As long as you can get through the laning phase and get them into team fights and play the sustained team fights where you fight, back off, fight, back off, fight, back off. If you can coordinate that, Guan is awesome. Just got to get through the shitty laning phase and the obvious potential of being out rotated. If you're getting out cleared, out poked, and you just have to fucking try to rotate late every time, it could be really rough for your team. Hades, B+. You're playing Hades if you're a Hades main and you position and use your abilities flawlessly. That's the big problem. Hades in lane can be ganked pretty easily, but overall pretty safe lane, right? Like you're sustaining, you've got a little bit of mobility, you've got decent damage, you've got poke if they're sitting in the creep wave. But once you get into team fights, it's really hard to be useful, and there are very few people that play Hades at a level that makes him useful. But it can be done. Just have to know the god inside and out. L, B+, another Hades type comp where you're just a healer main. You love healing. You're playing through the 2. You got to play back. That's going to be another sustain comp where you fight, back off and heal, fight, back off and heal. And aside from that, you really don't want to overcommit. You don't want your assassins diving in a comp like that. You want them playing. You want to be killing the front line and just sustaining through all the extra damage. Hercules, A tier. It's just another one of those late game team fights. Isn't that good? Hercules never had a crazy late game team fight. His early and mid game is insane. Outside of that, rough, really, really hard to do what you need to do. Anti-heal is very prominent right now, so you're not going to get much out of his 3 in the late game. Hard to play right now in the meta. Horus, A tier, just a very annoying solo laner. He's got clear, he's got sustain. His late game team fight is okay. It's just more of a, he's more of a ranked and casual type of guy because he's really good at all of this shit is single target. And in late game team fights, you're able to actually single target and get away with it. But outside of that, he's not doing too much damage. He's not doing too much in terms of CC. He's got a stun. He's got a knockup. But I said single target for the most part. Really hard to hit multiple people with those abilities. And because of that, you can't place him any higher than A. Jorm, S tier. The best damage guardian. So I said Geb is probably the best overall guardian. I still kind of agree with that. It's just hard to play him in every game. Jorm's going to be fine in lane. And most lanes he's going to have pressure. He's going to be really good in team fights. Near impossible to die with your ultimate as long as you don't try to use it too late. The god really has no downside right now at all. It's just lots of he's got slows, he's got knockups, he's got an ult where he literally cannot be killed in it. It's pretty fucking nuts. Khepri, I threw Khepri in here just for the hell of it. Don't play Khepri. C tier. Literally brings nothing to the game. Nothing at all. Just don't do it. The ultimate is one of the most shitty solo lane ultimates you could have coming out. Just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. King Arthur, I'm going to put up an S+. I would put Arthur in. It's really rough. So Arthur's gone through a lot of nerfs, and there are a lot of really good matchups for Arthur. But in terms of just the raw damage you do without damage items is unmatchable in casuals and ranked. You're going to be running around free casting. People are going to be afraid to target you. They're not going to be able to target you because they're bad. And you're able to sustain and just keep going and going and going and going and going. And because of that, him having no downtime while fighting, he doesn't have any point in time where he's just auto attacking. He just keeps spamming abilities. Plus, like I said, the damage is huge. Because of that, Arthur's not going anywhere. He's still S+. He can be destroyed in lane right now. He's been nerfed to the point where he can be beaten lane. Can happen. Most people suck at it. He does have some pretty meh matchups. But you can just go play the game without ever fighting into that shit. Proxying and rotating, avoiding fights, avoiding being ganked, warding up. If you can do that and you get to mid to late game, he's one of the only warriors outside of these 3 that have super good relevance in the late game team fights. Kazimbo. I threw Kazimbo in here because if you love Kazimbo and you need a guardian, you need some magic damage on the soul lane, play him. It's funny. It's troll, but it's nothing crazy good. Loki, the worst god in the game. Straight up. That's simple. Why the fuck would you play Loki? He's gone through nerfs. Already, why would you play him before the nerfs? Now you want to play him? No. Sorry. Can't get into it. Naja is going to be B+. You're a Naja main. You want to play an assassin, need the physical damage. You're just playing hyper aggressive essentially the whole time and really just trying to get into the mid to late game team fights and play through that ultimate. That is the goal. That is the dream. Nike is going to be B+. Doesn't bring much to team fights outside of that ultimate. Laning phase isn't going to be very good. Really easy to interrupt and cancel the one. Just hard for Nike to be super relevant in a team fight in the current meta. Nox, A tier. Nox has a lot of really good matchups. Very, very safe god. If you need to play a god that plays back from range and pokes and clears and just kind of chills out while being a mage, it's awesome. Plus, you're getting Spear of the Magus for your mages on your team. So as long as your team needs a Spear of the Magus god, Nox is great to throw into there. Learn the matchup, learn how to play it. You're basically playing to poke almost the whole fucking time. And that's it. That's simple. That's all you're looking to do. Odin, terrible, 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 terrible god. Ultimate, nerfed in the ground. He's shit. He does nothing late game. You have an active that hard counters him. Most gods can get out of the shit that are being played right now. There's no reason to be playing Odin. Osiris, we saw get played a lot more lately. It kind of spiked and then he's slowly falling off. Does really good in lane. Has a lot of poke. You need to be able to hit your 1 and your 2, obviously. But if you're hitting your 1 over, you're never missing your 1. The god will be very annoying to play against in lane. Team fight wise, a little bit more rough. You're kind of, once you're in. There's no really going anywhere. You can be locked down very, very easily, but you just negate a lot of damage and you have to play around that. Ravana, B+. A lot of these guys are going to be B+. Ravana in the soul lane is just not the play right now. As assassin now, hasn't really been played too much in the soul lane since then. Seen him once or twice in comp. Laning phase isn't that good in anybody. If you're picking him, you are definitely playing a full dive comp, kind of like you do in the jungle. Ravana is very good at diving people, and that's about it. He's not going to be soloing people though, so having jungle that dives, having all the support that dives, hunters that dives, mages that dives, is going to be a lot to a big priority for having a Ravana. So on top of needing certain gods on your team, certain plays on your team, it's also just one of those gods that isn't going to do well into a lot of the matchups. So you're only playing this if you just fucking love him. Sett, I think Sett is fucking insane in the soul lane, more so in ranked and casuals than in comp, 100%. But in ranked and casuals, Sett solo, Sett mid, and Sett jungle is one of the best gods in the game currently. Each game I just bit my tongue. Each game feels different. Some games, the early game feels super easy and you plow through them. Other games seems really difficult. I'm still figuring out what gods and matchups I really dislike, like playing Sett into. Obviously, heavy lockdown is going to be frustrating for Sett. Slows, he has a slow immune ability that lasts a really long time, so slows aren't fucking shit for Sett. And it's just a sustain in the lane. You can full clear the wave at like level 2. You have sustain when you're playing solo laner because you're getting solo lane because you're getting gladiator shield and shit like that. In team fights, you have that sustain. You are very tanky. You've got mobility out of the 3 and out of the extra movement speed from the ult and the slow immunity from the 3. In a fight where you're playing Sett and it's a long elongated fight and you have all of your Sett minions down, and you can swap and target a squishy with them out of the soul lane, not having a lot of power, you're still gonna fucking destroy those targets. And to have that potential as well as just being very annoying and you're already slowing everyone else on the team, it's an awesome god. I really, really like that right now. Sobek, one of the just safer, can't lose, well, you'll lose lane, but can't die and be fucked over and is gonna come to the team fight doing what he needs to do. Guardians, that's Sobek. You lose lane, you're AFK in the lane for a little while, then you rotate to team fights and you're very, very, very annoying because you're impossible for you to kill you. You have a crazy amount of CC between the pluck, the knockback, the slow on the ultimate. I guess there's a knock up on his fucking 2. But yeah, Sobek's got a lot going for him and is one of the most annoying guardians in the game, period. So Wukong, A tier. If you just want to play a warrior that doesn't do anything and is really hard to kill, Wukong. So you just play that. Very rarely you're going to pick this over anything else, but it is a potential. So Terra, A+. Terra's team fight in terms of diving is insane out of Guardians. One of the highest, most like damaging Guardians in terms of if Terra goes in on you and your team and the Terra's team engages on you, you got to watch out for that burst. You have to pay attention to it. Has a lot of lockdown. Very, very annoying. You see Terra mostly in the support role, but if you need to flex it out or you just want magic damage or you want to play the Terra over there, 100% viable. You have clear, you're safe, you can block the wave early so nothing too crazy happens in the early game. Terra's an awesome pick right now. Thanatos, B+. If you're a Thanatos main and you're playing hyper aggressive, Thanatos is not going to work very often in super high level games. Or similar to Thanatos, not going to work all that often in high level games. I think Baskin played him in a comp game the other day, which is pretty nuts. But really, when you're playing it on the solo lane, you're just being annoying. You're really just trying to be annoying with your ultimates, with your 2s, with a little bit of poke you do, with being in their face with the 3. You just want to be in their face and be annoying, make sure you never die. Tier, which most people can't do in rank games, to be honest. Tier A, laning phase isn't too bad. Team fight isn't too bad. Can be super locked down very easily, and that's something you have to watch out for. That's why I put him in A, and I wouldn't be top picking him. I'd be looking at the team comp and whether it's relevant. Plus, there's a lot of gods that can just be completely immune to his 1 and make him pretty fucking irrelevant. Vamana, B tier. Anti-heal is huge. Late game Vamana was never great, and every game is going to late game. So you've got anti-heal being prominent, plus like a bad late game god. Not the move right now. Shin 10, if you need the anti-auto attack god, like the Valona type style, Shin 10 is going to pull that out for you. So if they have a lot of auto attack gods, you're looking at Shin 10. Gonna lose early lane, gonna be pretty rough. Once you get to the late game, it can be very, very annoying and do a lot of damage. Ymir, you need magic damage and you're Ymir main. There you go. You're gonna late pick him so you do not get fucked. Zhongqi, A tier, you need magic damage. You need that spear we were talking about. You need kind of just something to fill that specific area. You want something to be really annoying in an area. You want some more area damage. You have a lot of single target and your soul energy last pick. Zhongqi can be an option. Definitely possible. So here's our solo lane tier list for right now. This shit changes all the time because of the buffs and nerfs and what people are figuring out. But this is kind of the most prominent you see overall. There's a lot of B+ because solo lane is very, I don't know the word I want to use, but it's just very out there in terms of the gods that you can get away with in casuals and ranked, and actually end up stomping with them because you know the god inside and out and other people don't because they're rare, they're less common and people don't know the matchups. But outside of that little bit of an advantage those gods give you, the disadvantage you gain from anyone who isn't stupid kind of overrides that heavily. So here's our full tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please subscribe, like. Remember the hoodie, which is actually on the back of this chair, is gone on July 4th. So grab one. The link is in the description. It's weekend.swordog with 2gs.com. And yeah, grab that. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the tier list. I'll see you tomorrow.